This world is not yet ready for all that you will do.
Maybe this will help.
I want to be an apex predator.
That's not gonna do it. You might just want to roll the intro on this one. It's Lindsay, aka November Pixie. Thanks for joining me on another episode of Can I Fix It? I'm trying to be more optimistic in 2021, especially when it comes to my beloved DC characters. What happened? So much went wrong. It's so confusing. It was overstuffed, yet it was empty and boring. It had 2 or 3 strong themes, and it didn't expand on any of them. It had a couple of really good villains, and just totally wasted the momentum that they were gaining. It was a chore to get through this movie. I liked the first one, it was good, but this one just had so many problems with it. So I don't even want to waste my time with just a big intro on this one. The big question is, can I fix it? Well, I will give it my best shot. Before I get into other problems with this one, I'm going to address this one thing. If you've seen any of my other channels that deal with the subject of female characters, seeing men absolutely painted in the worst light, but this has made me more upset. Okay, so the absolute number one thing that we have to change is Steve coming back. Not that I want to change Steve coming back, because I actually like Chris Pine and I like his chemistry with Gal Gadot. I think that that was great. So I don't want to change Steve coming back. I want to change the way Steve comes back. A random guy who is just living his normal life and everything, and he just gets plucked out of existence and becomes Steve Trevor. What the fuck? The reason why this makes me very upset, and I'm gonna put this in context, and another Steve, actually. So we're gonna talk about Steve Rogers. So Captain America gets dropped into modern time. When he does that, he leaves behind the love of his life, Peggy Carter. And somehow they bring back Peggy Carter, but it's not Peggy Carter. Jane Doe is living her normal life. Maybe she has a boyfriend, maybe she has kids somewhere, I don't know. She just gets plucked out of existence, and Peggy Carter embodies her, goes and reunites with Steve Rogers, and Steve Rogers and her get a little frisky in Jane Doe's apartment, in Jane Doe's bed, in Jane Doe's body. If Marvel even dreamed of doing this, the SJW Karens of the world would unite like fucking Megatron. They would be rioting in the streets. The Marvel Twitter account, and probably Chris Evans as well, would just be a virtual bloodbath. And this is where we get into the double standard. They did the exact same thing with Steve Trevor's random guy who we don't know anything about. He has every right to say no, and don't bother jumping in my comment section with the stupid argument, what man in his right mind wouldn't say yes to Gal Gadot? That's not the point. Maybe he already has a girlfriend. He fathered a child somewhere, and there's a child who doesn't know where their father disappeared to. Maybe he was actually gay. We don't know. That's why you can't do this. Okay, now that I've gotten that off my chest, do I want Steve Trevors to come back? Absolutely. I think Chris Pine is a great actor. He's got great charisma, and I think that he and Gal Gadot had very good chemistry between each other. It's a comic book movie. There's a thing called suspension of disbelief. Just bring Steve back. So that was the first fix. I can lower my blood pressure because the rest of the fixes aren't that hard. Okay, so fix number 2. Who decided it should be in 1984? First one took place in World War I. I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure there was another giant world conflict somewhere like mid 1930s, 1940s. There's so many other like time periods that we could have set this movie in. Why did we choose 1984? We're actually going to move this to the 1960s. The country was very divided against things, and it was just a very divisive time in the country. And the country being at odds like that would actually fuel our main villain. Speaking of main villains, Max Lord. This is Max Lord from the comics. This is Max Lord, Wonder Woman 1984.
I wish to be you, the Dream Stone itself.
But this is kind of going into the problem with DC making movies. Just kind of skim over the comic books and the lore, and they just see a name and then they just totally rewrite the history to fit the narrative that they are trying to tell. If you're going to do that, just make somebody up. Don't choose somebody that's already in existence. Max Lord from the comics is actually quoted, "How much harm do they bring about? How many crazed psychopaths spin plots just to entangle and destroy them? It pains me. So much promise, so much power. It all seems to go wrong. That is why I take it upon myself to watch them. They choose to put on these uniforms, claim to protect us, then they should be held accountable." Yes, at a certain point, he does become a villain. The moral gray area that actually makes the character so compelling. Why did we leave that all on the cutting room floor just to turn him into some Saturday morning cartoon villain? If we keep Max Lord the way he is in the comics and is trying to keep some kind of control over her, actually going to see Diana kind of taking easy way out, and Max Lord is just kind of echoing her mother back in Theraschema, and that big lesson that we were trying to learn at the very beginning with that Olympic scene. Max Lord could be that voice in her ear. So we're not going to have Max Lord be the villain. You know who I would pick? Firstborn, the eldest of Zeus. Think that that would actually be a pretty good dynamic to see the two of them go up against each other. So instead of having this Dreamstone, get rid of the Dreamstone. Have Firstborn, how he wants the power and the control of the people by giving them what they want a little bit. He's actually taking a little bit of that control. So we see Firstborn kind of take a human form, and he's doing all these things by manipulating people and giving people what they want and gaining more power and gaining more power. Yet Diana is trying to stop him. But again, she's taking sort of cheat ways out of it, and that's taking away her power. The more power that goes to Firstborn, the more is being taken away from Diana. And this is going to... So to cast our new villain, Firstborn, as much as I love Pedro Pascal as an actor and thought he did a really good job in The Mandalorian, I would need somebody a little bit more big and bulky in order to play Firstborn. So I'd actually get someone like maybe Gerard Butler. Yeah, I think he could make that work.
This is Sparta!
And our new Max Lord, I would cast Adam Driver because I think that he could do a really good job playing the counterbalance to Wonder Woman. And I so badly want Adam Driver to have a win after the disaster that was Star Wars. And also with Firstborn, when he meets the president, we're not going to have him wish for more nukes. That is just such lazy storytelling. I want him, when he actually meets the president, to have the president wish for peace, maybe wish for the war to be over. And that's very confusing. He doesn't understand the concept of somebody wanting peace. He doesn't understand that, and it makes him angry, and it just fuels his anger and his power more than the president wishing for it. The invisible jet. Remember how silly the invisible jet looked in the TV show? Oh, Jesus. This one is getting very difficult. How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do? Okay, so we're cutting out all the bullshit about the Dreamstone or Max going to Egypt. Like, we're cutting all of that out. Instead, we're keeping Firstborn in the country, but he's able to get from one side of the country to the other. And also Firstborn has sort of convinced the police department that Diana, Steve Travers, is the threat. And they are on the loose, they're fugitive, and they can't leave on no-fly lists. I don't know if they had those in the 60s, but we're gonna pretend like they do. So Diana has a friend, this guy's actually a pilot. It would make sense for Diana to be around pilots because being a pilot was something that was very important to Steve, and she wants to sort of keep that part of him. So it'd be very likely that she has friends that actually work in aviation. So she and Steve kind of run up to this guy. Hey, we've tracked Firstborn. We're just going to pick a city, all across the country. He's in Vegas and we got to get there, but we're on no-fly list. How do we get there? So her friend is saying, well, I've been working on this super secret project and it sort of jams sonar signals. And Steve and Diana are both like super confused. And then he just turns around and says, well, what that means is we would be invisible. Boom! Yes, we're tying in the invisible jet and we're kind of making a play on it, and we're just doing something fun to where they still get in a jet, they're still invisible, so the invisible jet doesn't look quite so ridiculous. Moving on. So we've fixed in this, we've changed it to Firstborn. Max Lord is now going to be the accountability and really drive home the message of Diana not taking shortcuts and being accountable for her actions. I actually like the concept of Cheetah. It could just be the DC people just skimming through, comic books and saying, oh, Cheetah, that sounds cool. Here you go. Bleh, it onto the screen. So I think that we can do Cheetah. Cheetah kind of gains her ability. That's something that she can gain from Firstborn. And again, make it a very slow buildup. Save her until the very end. And I'm talking the very end, like post-credit. We did great with the development of Barbara Minerva into Cheetah. We've got to save Cheetah for another time. Well, that's everything on my list, I think. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Am I forgetting? Oh yeah, duh. More Wonder Woman. It's called Wonder Woman. We get 3 scenes of her in her Wonder Woman armor, kicking ass. But yeah, the mall scene, the White House scene, with some tweaking, I think that we could probably make that work. The car chase scene, again, that was really good. I also really like the fact that, she was losing her powers through that, but she needs to have a big fight, especially with Firstborn, since we're not doing the whole Dreamstone and TV. We're not doing that. It's gonna be her and Firstborn, and it's gonna be awesome, just as awesome as the fight with Ares. I also want the decision to come from Diana, knowing that she has to give up Steve Trevor. Don't make it his decision, make it hers, even though that she really loves him and he's her connection to the world. She can't stay with him, she can't keep him. The world needs her at her strength in order to defeat Firstborn. And Steve says, you don't have to let me go, I'm already gone. Then they kiss, have that beautiful moment between the two of them. She turns around, and then, even though she's upset, she starts running and becomes the Wonder Woman we know and love. That gold armor, oh, it was terrible. So yeah, so there you go. That's how I would fix Wonder Woman 1984. We would bring Steve back. We're gonna set the movie in the 1960s. We're gonna change the villain to Firstborn and no more Dreamstone. We're gonna revise Max Lord. We're actually going to make him Diana's accountability in this movie. And we're gonna sort of echo the theme that they were trying to push so hard in the opening scene. When it comes to Cheetah, we're gonna keep building and keep building and keep building. We're gonna save her until the next movie, and we're gonna pump up the Wonder Woman. So there you go. What did you think? Was there something that you would do differently in Wonder Woman 1984? Did you actually like Wonder Woman 1984? Let me know in the comment section below. If you did like this fix and there's another movie that you'd like me to try to fix, leave that in the comments below and I will give it my best shot. You can also check out my channel and check out some of my other episodes of Can I Fix It? I also have some other episodes over there that you might enjoy as well, such as Victim of Franchise, Heated Debates, and Top 5 Countdowns. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Discord. And if you do like what I do on this channel, sprinkle a little pixie dust over that subscribe button. And be sure to ring the bell for all notifications. Until next time, wishing you peace, love, and pixie dust. Here's hoping 2021 is better. Bye now.